know what? I don't really know what this video is going to be about. I forgot to tell y'all what was the next company. Let's see. Booker Transportation. And I went back home for a minute. And did some stuff. U.S. Freightways. It's from my boy Wordy Robinson. Him and I don't talk no more. Me and him fell out. I'm good. You know, I wish him the best of luck. You know. U.S. Freightways was a good company. They weren't that bad. You know. They gave you the opportunity to drive. This was around the time ELD started coming out. Okay. This is what ELD did. ELD, what a lot of people don't like about it is that you can't lie and cheat on it. I'm okay with that. But it was another way to try to control the drivers. Before the ELD came out, studies had already shown that the people who were causing the accidents were people who was driving regular cars, not us. Not us. Okay? What the ELD does now is that you can't use a driver's logbook anymore like they used to do back in the day against him. Okay? They literally have to look at all of the facts to verify who's at fault. That's why you four-wheelers don't get paid anymore. Because trucking companies got tired of paying you guys $1 million. All these billboards around here that's talking about you're in an accident with a big truck, call me because I don't give a cluck. Something. Call me. We gonna go get them. Call me because I'm the Texas Hammer. Call me because I'm Morris Bart out of New Orleans. Call me. We gonna go get them. The something below, whatever they call it. Okay. That's why you got all them billboards for truck accidents. Okay. Because there's $1 million general liability policy on every trucking company out here. That's why they had started doing those insurance frauds where people will put their car out there and have somebody run into the car in the back and then everybody go jump back in the car, right? And act like they got hurt. What they didn't realize is that these trucks had started putting cameras on their cars. That's why they put cameras all up and down the interstate, okay? Because of y'all stupid people trying to do insurance fraud, right? Because when they realized that this truck was moving at 30, 40 miles an hour and none of y'all had anything wrong with y'all, none of y'all had, cuts, bruises, none of that. None of y'all had nothing that said y'all was involved in the accident. Yet and still y'all was in that car for some apparent reason. Ain't none of y'all, this truck ran, then pushed the back seat into the front seat. Ain't none of y'all smushed? None of y'all. Yeah, that's why that came out. So, me and Freightways went out of business. It was a good company. He switched over. I think he's V&V Logistics now. What's up, Christian? Good guy. Just everybody out here just trying to do the right thing, right? VI Mobile out of Chicago. Horrible. That's his sister-in-law, his brother-in-law company. They do the maintenance, man. Horrible maintenance. And he started taking it out on us drivers like, hey, we're not going to pay for y'all maintenance over the road anymore. Y'all got to pay for that yourselves. But our trucks would have just left the shop by his brother-in-law when it gave up $2,300, $2,500, stuff like that. And the truck break down as soon as we leave, right? But I have nothing bad to say about Christian Petrov. If I could get my trucking company back up and running, I would do business with that guy right there, right? in 2003 and put it on with them. But something was in the contract that they couldn't let me do it or something. Like, I don't know. Something happened. I don't know what happened. But it wouldn't go through. Kind of glad it didn't go through. I'm gonna tell you all about that in a little bit. Remember accelerated trucks or something like that. Accelerated truck leasing or accelerated truck sales. Don't do it. I'll tell you about that in just a minute. I've gotten to the point I'm just tired of all the lies. I am tired of all the lies. I'm just one of many. I'm one of many. If you was to sit down and talk to us truck drivers, you'll find out that these companies out here ain't no good. None of them. Hauling none of them. When it's time to part ways, they'll say you kidnapped a princess from somewhere. They will get you in trouble. Okay? Oh, I got to go back because there was some companies I worked for out of Chicago, out of Texas, African companies. Here's the thing. These companies that's owned by other people from other states, other countries, horrible. So we got to go back. So let's talk about that since we only have 6 minutes. I have nothing bad to say about Christian Patrol, VNV Logistics out of Chicago, Illinois. They're trying their best. Rate market is kind of crazy. I wish they had some better trucks, but they're doing what they can do with what they have, right? Just don't, they still do maintenance work with the VI mobile down the street, but I don't care for their maintenance because they don't do good maintenance. Maybe on their trucks, but not nobody else's trucks. So let's go back. In 2000, after Booker Transportation, I tried to work for a company called Genesis OTR. Genesis OTR refused to pay me. They was out in Arlington. But let me tell y'all, Genesis OTR, Genesis Express, and Genesis Truck Yard, all the same company, all the same management, all the same phone numbers, all the same people that work in the same positions, okay? I sued them in 2010 or 11, maybe 12, somewhere around up in there. I beat them in court. As of today, they owe me about $10,000 or $12,000, okay? What they had wanted me to do was change up my logbook because they said that they drove at a certain speed and so on and so forth. My truck that I was in could do 75 miles an hour. I logged my book at 75, whatever I was doing, and they didn't like that. So for about 3 weeks, I didn't get a paycheck. So when I came home, I had quit. I sat in there with a son of one of my kids all day waiting on my paycheck. Right? They called the police. I told them what was going on, that I had been there all day. I didn't get my paychecks from them until 3-4 months later down the road. So when I sued them, they lost. What they don't realize is that I'm still collecting interest on this lawsuit. When I get a second to get there, what they also don't realize is that they paid me under the trucking company of Genesis Express a few times. So even though Genesis OTR is the one I sued, my paychecks that I entered into evidence shows clear as day that I can also be paid from Genesis Express. And since Genesis Express is the one that paid me and they're all linked together, that means you can also pay me my money from Genesis Truck Yard. So I'll be going down there real soon. As soon as I get a second to get down there and go check it out and do some research and then go back to court and get my money. That African company believed as long as you have water and oil in your truck, you can drive. If you didn't have no AC, they didn't care. If you didn't have no heat, they didn't care. Okay? But to not pay your drivers, to not pay your drivers when they're supposed to get paid, that don't make no sense to me. And once again, there's no one for us to call. Labor board. How is it possible for companies to get away with stealing money like this? And then there's nobody you can call and get them in trouble. It'd be years. It'd be months. You literally have to end up homeless. And at that time, you don't even have any money to hire anybody to help you. And if a lawyer don't think you can pay, they're not trying to help you. But then y'all wonder why somebody gets shot. I'm sorry. Where's that? You basically, they shot the person that robbed them. I don't have no problem with that. But it's under the guise of, we just doing business. We're just doing business. He didn't turn in his paper. So with Genesis OTR, when they're watch this. So in the court case, I represented myself. We had jury and everything. They claimed that they didn't have my checks ready because I didn't turn in the paperwork on time. And that I refused to give them the paperwork, which is why they refused to pay me. But when the checks that I received from them, they were all dated before the day they fired me. So if you didn't have your paperwork, how come these checks got these dates on it, but I didn't get these checks until 3-4 months down the road? That was part of the evidence. At that time I won $8,000 something dollars and some change. That's been since 2010, 2011 or 12, and it's been collecting 5% every year. So I'm over about 15,000 right now. Right? They claim there's a claim that they've gone out of business, but they opened up Genesis Truck Yard in that time. They had bankrupt Genesis OTR. They took all the money out of Genesis OTR and they transferred it over into Genesis Truck Yard. Okay? That's called fraudulent convergence. Okay? It's a federal offense. The same thing that Johnson & Johnson did with the talcum powder, where they took it, while the court was going on, they took the proceeds from talcum powder and they sold it off to one of their little subsidiary companies, and then said he was only worth $1 million or so many $1 million. So therefore, you can only sue them for that amount of money, right? That's a federal offense. It's called fraudulent conveyance. Lawyers should have knew that, and he did it while the class action lawsuit was going on. Okay, that's why they did it, because they didn't want to be sued in their entirety of what they're worth, from Johnson & Johnson baby oil facial stuff, the vaccine, all the money they got from that. Yeah, they didn't want to be sued for that. So if it's a class action lawsuit, you can only sue them from up to the amount of money that they say they're worth. And since that little small company that they sold the talcum powder division over to was only worth, what, $100 million, that's all they can sue them for. So all the people that was suing and the millions and millions of they can only get a portion of the $100 million or the $10 million that they were worth. It's called fraudulent conveyance. Right? So that's what happened with Genesis OTR, Genesis Express, Genesis Truck Yard. I'm coming for them. If they're still in Arlington or Grand Prairie right now, Texas, as soon as I get some time off, I'm driving that way. I'm going to check out that office where they opened it up. I was there once before. They owe me some money. Now I can have the people close, put a lock on their door, freeze their account. They can't work. If I lock up that yard, all those people that pay for parking there, you can't get your truck out. Doesn't matter. They opened up a facility, their own shop and everything. Yep. So, wish y'all the best. my experiences, this is 20 years. 20 years of just foolishness that these trucking companies will tell you guys, oh, it's the driver. No, it ain't. There are many drivers out here that are assholes. I would give you that. I can go anywhere I want as far as driving goes. Why? I've never popped positive on a drug test. I've never refused a drug test. The accidents I've had, they've been either written off or somebody, they were held at fault because it was their fault, right? And so on and so forth. Never abandon anybody's vehicle anywhere. I've been abandoned, but there's nobody for us to call. We can't. There's nobody for us to report these trucking companies to. Nobody. May 5th of last year, 2023, the FMCSA just opened up a predatory leasing division. I'm still waiting on them to call me back. Yep, still waiting on them to call me back. I've been putting information with them about a company. So, we talked about VV Logistics and we talked about US Freightways, same owner. US Freightways is no longer in existence. So shout out to my boy Worthy Robinson. He learned a lot over there. We just talked about Genesis OTR, Genesis Express, and Genesis Truck Yard out of Arlington in Grand Prairie, Texas, right? Because I had nothing crazy to say about US Freightways. US Freightways went out and then I went over to I didn't go over to VV. I went for a few other companies, and it wasn't crazy. It was just things didn't work out. Either trucks went down, or truck had issues, or the company went out, something like that, right? But most of the companies were pretty good. And these companies I'm talking about, VV Logistics, out of Chicago, good company. I will work with Christian Petrov anytime. US Freightways was a good company, right? It was him and his partner. They fell out. I don't know who was doing what. I wasn't in on it. Okay. Colines, the dispatch crew wasn't that great. So the owner that I was working for over there, he just moved his truck. I just moved with the truck. And we went to like Intercontinental Trucking or something like that. I don't know what happened. Truck just went down. That's all that was. The truck had went down. There was nothing his fault. Next one, Atlantic Express out of Chicago. Let's talk about them. Peace. Love each other.